When the pandemic hit, we in Lorraine County were fortunate for one thing. So many businesses, nonprofits, and government agencies had been working together for so long and lining up their resources that we were ready to respond. At United Way, we wanted to celebrate the hardworking people, the game changers behind this work. So we decided to host our own Homecoming Week. I'm Ashley, United Way's Marketing and Engagement Director, and if you didn't get a chance to follow us on social media this week and catch all the interviews, you can see them on playlists here on YouTube. I want to thank you today for joining us for our pep rally to wrap up the week. We'll share what we heard is the biggest challenge and the most popular parts of our county. And then we invited a couple special VIP guests from both ends of the county to share what they love about our community. So let's get started.
There's so much, diversity and transition in the community that, there's a lot of resources that are lacking, or a lot of, connectivity problems as far as transportation.
We've got inner city mixed with in the country. That leads to transportation challenges.
Transportation is the biggest challenge here for most of the clients here. When we do connect them with employment, we sometimes have a hard time getting them to the job because of transportation. The bus service that's not the best here, so that's probably the major part of it is the transportation issue.
Probably a big focus right now is lack of transportation throughout the county to get essential, necessary needs to our families, like well visits, doctor's appointments, jobs, simple things like getting to the library, things like that. I think transportation is a big focus of the county right now.
I think one of the biggest challenges, and it's what we hear, whether it's United Way or even in the hospital system here, is transportation's an issue for people. There isn't necessarily a robust working transit system, although we have one. I think there could be some improvements there that could really help the county.
Yes, I am Sharon Pearson, and I am the Lorraine County Mobility Manager. My role is to promote transportation options that currently exist within Lorraine County, to understand the transportation unmet needs, and then to collaborate with organizations and vehicles and agencies to create a transportation network to meet those unmet needs.
There's also a quick, easy way to help out Lorraine County Mobility Management, which we lead in partnership with Move Lorraine County. Fill out the 2020 Transportation Needs Survey, which will help Sharon and our partners identify gaps in transportation, particularly for the populations that need it most. Just visit movelorainecounty.org before October 31st to share your transportation experiences.
The greatest thing about Lorraine County is how it varies from the southern part all the way up to the northern. So the southern, we have rural towns and a little bit slower pace, and so much more family activities, things you can do at farms and everything. And then we come into Lorraine and Elyria, and it's so much busier and so many more people, and it gets more diverse as you go up north. And then we end up at the Great Lakes and Lake Erie. It's awesome to have beaches in Ohio.
That's got to be Lake Erie. I think we have beautiful Lakeview Park with the Metro Parks involved with that now. It's really nice. I grew up playing beach volleyball there. The ice cream stand there, the view, everything is really awesome. Everything about that is great at Lakeview Park and in Lake Erie.
We know the Lorraine County Metro Parks really well from all the hiking trails that we have, that we're blessed with.
Also, being on the lake, having access to that as well as, our metro parks and things has been fantastic.
With the lake, the parks, and everything we have to offer, it has everything I look for.
In terms of one of my favorite things about Lorraine County, it would have to be, if you think of the lake, if you think of our metro parks. The fact that this time through the fall, and maybe even a little bit into the winter, that we can be outside, even with masks on during these times, yet still be able to experience the birds, the crickets, all of those things in our backyard.
It's nice to have nice open spaces and clear, dark skies.
What's with the clear, dark sky?
Well, yes, because not only do I enjoy doing gardening, but I also do astronomy, and it's nice to have dark skies and away from more city lights. I actually run the planetarium and the observatory at Oberlin College now, so I'll put in a plug for that. In normal times we do public programs, and you can find us on Facebook, and during these times we're doing virtual programs on Zoom.
Masks are very important. You should wear one. They're comfortable too. Bye-bye. Live in Lorraine County!
Woo! That was good. That was good.
Yet still be able to experience the birds, the crickets.
My favorite thing, truthfully, about Lorraine is the cultural diversity. You run into people from all walks of life, all kind of places, and you learn so much about different cultures around the world right here in Lorraine.
The thing I like the most about the Clearview community is the small family atmosphere that takes place here. There are so many people that grew up in this area that want to come back and work for Clearview, come back and live in this community, and they just form a family type atmosphere.
Diversity that is around the county. I mean, Lorraine in itself is named International City, and I think that's something that we should embrace and really support moving forward. And I really enjoy all the different sides of towns, of all the cities and everything that comes with it.
I've always felt that everyone is always very friendly. The community kind of surrounds anyone in need, if that makes sense. You know, if someone lost a dog, everybody's out looking for it, or they shovel a neighbor's sidewalk. And so there's definitely that close-knit community feel still.
It's a great, hardworking place. People grow up here, move back here for a reason. It's a great place to raise kids. It's a good, hardworking community. It's a lot of fun.
Honestly, my favorite thing about Lorraine County and North Ridgeville are the people. You know, I meet great people everywhere I go, so that's been really nice.
Everyone is so interconnected, regardless of the agencies that I've worked with. There's collaboration amongst all of you, and it's nice to see that everybody is working together for the greater good of the community.
Diversity, really. Oberlin is a small community, and yet it's full of all kinds of different people, and there's a tolerance and acceptance of all of that. It's really good to be with lots of different points of view and different kinds of people.
Yeah, I've just always loved Oberlin. Even when I was in high school, I would always come out here with my friends and hang around, walk around. We'd visit the radio station. It was just like a really great place to be. And when we decided to move here, it was just because of how accepting it was. Regardless of who you are, what you believe in, you know, anything, it was just really a nice place to be. Really appreciate the town and what it has to offer.
Cultures, and I think that's what makes Lorraine County so strong, the different ideas that the people bring and the kind of camaraderie that the entire county has.
And I love the people in Lorraine County. We don't have big corporations down here. We have churches, we have people, and one of our most active people is just a citizen, but he is passionate about our elevated garden boxes.
My passion comes from wanting to help those, to empower them, to make changes, life changes that lead them to stability.
Now for our first special VIP guest, I'm excited to welcome our neighbor on Broadway, Javon Terrance.
I started Javon Terrance Boutique on Broadway in 2012. It came about with the initiative with the city of Lorraine. They had a pop-up shop program, and actually it worked out. I mean, I was working another job, and I happened to be off, and I was like, let me check out this program. I was dating my fiance, and her her mom was like, hey, go check out the city, see what they have to offer, you see their vacant, buildings. So I did, and I started going scoping different places, and I found my perfect place, and I'm like, we're gonna open the store for 2 months at least. But I never thought of it as a pop-up. I'm like, let's put all of our hard-earned money into this and start it off and see where it can go in Lorraine. Lorraine was really cool growing up, doing a lot of things in the community, going to skate world every weekend, stuff like that. So Lorraine was really fun. I wasn't a kid that grew up was like, I hate it here type of thing. I think that happens more now with social media because you see all these beautiful places that you want to be at. But as you get older, I even have a more care for Lorraine now because of me being older and doing more things and being able to go on the lakefront and go to the lighthouse and do things I didn't do when I was young. I got into fashion through just the love of art. I started designing shoes in the 4th grade, and I kept up with that through high school. And then, loving to dress and experiment with different clothes throughout high school, I ended up winning Best Dressed. So I didn't let that go to my head. I was like, hey, because I was doing everything naturally. So then right after high school, I kind of curved it straight into fashion. I was an arts major at Lorraine Community College. And then from knowing art and the basics of art, I got more into fashion. Traveling to Paris was scary and fun. I was eager because I was coming off a big show that I did at the Palace, and this was 2015. So I got the opportunity from social media. I got found that way. So we took the trip to Paris, but before that, I was so eager to design and push myself to do things that I hadn't done. So I always joke about this dress that I made that kind of changed the brand because it's a chevron style dress and it's all panels sewn and it's fringe. And I'm like, I need to bring the dramatics. I can't take across a road trip and not bring good clothes. So, that's what happened with that. It pushed me to be a better designer and I learned a lot from it. I like most about Lorraine the international flavor that it has because I can get a lot of different foods. It's an interesting city. It has a great lakefront, so I love that. I think some challenges going forward, maybe like what's our identity? Who are we? To me, I feel like Lorraine is an arts town meets historic, so I think we got to find that perfect balance. We talk about buildings and stuff like that. I travel, I see murals on the buildings. Here, you don't really see that much, so it's like, let's add the art into the lifestyle of Lorraine. So eventually that'll come around. We've been in a revitalization period, so it's a renaissance. It really is.
All right, so we have special guest. Some of you might know him. He is Bill Harper, the former president and CEO of United Way of Greater Lorraine County and current tax volunteer. Bill Harper, welcome
Hello.
to our pep rally.
Yeah, woo! That's exciting.
So, Bill, can you tell us how long have you been in Lorraine County?
It's coming up to 18 years.
Tell us a little more about the area you live in.
So we're in rural Lorraine County in Penfield Township, right on the Medina County line. And it's very rural. Our property that we're on is 9 acres of woods. I love it. It's a lot of farmland, so you kind of watch the seasons as the crops are planted, and then this time of the year they start to get harvested.
Is there anything that you find particularly unique about Lorraine County?
It's just something special about the people here. At least my experience has been they're extremely welcoming to new folks, and you can make friends really easily. Here, and maybe that's because of the diversity and also it's a mixture of urban, suburban, rural that people accept you pretty quickly, and so I love that part of it.
And I have to echo you on accepting of new people because I'm a transplant myself, as you know. So
yeah,
I think that's something that I noticed having lived in a few different places. This is probably the closest to my hometown, where I feel like people are always pretty friendly and pretty open to new people. So we've really enjoyed and appreciated that.
Yeah, it's you feel accepted and welcomed. You know, I think the diversity of the topography, the fact that we do have very rural areas, we have very new suburban areas with everything's new. You know, all the stores are new, the houses are new, and then we've got urban neighborhoods that have been challenged, have been in many cases abandoned by the investment community, have been abandoned by retail establishment, and they're really left with people struggling to make ends meet. Have been moved from communities or neighborhoods that are a good balance of both rental properties and home-owned properties to ones that are almost exclusively renters with absentee landlords and that type of thing. So that diversity is really unique.
So do you think you have a different perspective on the county as a retiree now than, you know, when you were in a leadership role at United Way?
Well, you know, it's not an easy transition moving into retirement, I'd have to say. And I've been at it for almost a year. And so you want to, you know, you really, as a spectator, you want to root for success and not get cynical. I see so many folks who, you know, move into retirement and they get real cynical about things. So you really want to, as you see people get into this situations, leadership positions, you want them to do well, because that's good for everybody. But then again, you want to be still relevant a little bit. So it's a great opportunity. Obviously, United Way has given me some opportunities to volunteer, and I really appreciate that. As a retiree, I can contribute something, you know, of value to the community.
Well, we certainly appreciate this year, since we had to make some adjustments to our free tax prep program. So we appreciate you coming out and hanging out in the library parking lots. What was your experience with that this year?
Oh, it was fun. You know, the folks who drop off, that was basically dropping off taxes and picking them up. And number one, it's you want to have good customer service. You want people to be happy with and pleased with the result. You want to treat them fairly and with respect. And I love those challenges, and I enjoy serving others. So that was a lot of fun, and it was doubly fun because I got to work with some great people who were about doing that as well. So
on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you miss us at United Way?
Like 100.
Yes, that's the right answer, because we're recording.
In our country, and really our community, more than ever, it's critical, it's imperative that we live united.
James Hampson is an amazing human.